How's it going, guys? So, Dillian Whyte is going to be fighting Dereck Chisora on the undercard of Anthony Joshua's title defense against Eric Molina. Now, I just got done making my video for the Joshua Molina fight, and it was a pretty brief video. I didn't really have that much to say about that fight because I really don't think there is much to say about it. Even though it's not a terrible fight, it's just not really that intriguing to me. But this fight, however, Dereck Chisora against Dillian Whyte, I think is a very good fight. I think it's a very interesting fight, and it's a fight that's got people talking. And it's a fight they've been setting this fight up for a while now. Dereck Chisora, 26-6 with 18 knockouts, been around for years now. I remember when this guy first turned pro. I remember watching some of his fights on some early Frank Warren cards. I remember seeing him fight people like Sam Sexton. Just the domestic level opposition here in the UK, Carl Baker, people like that. And I was never really that impressed with Dereck Chisora. I remember when he fought Tyson Fury the first time, and Tyson Fury he played with him, dominated him. It was an easy fight, and people said it was a close fight, but in reality, it really wasn't. Okay, Tyson Fury just handily outboxed him, and Dereck Chisora to me, he's kind of a hot and cold fighter. Some fights he would show up fat and just undetermined, and then other fights like his fight against Robert Helenius, for example, he would show up in great shape and he would really come to fight and he would really come forward. And he was more energetic in those kind of fights. Now he's going to be fighting Dillian Whyte. Been watching quite a lot of Dillian Whyte recently, and I'm impressed with the dude. A lot of people are not that impressed, but I think that Dillian Whyte is a good heavyweight. Let's not forget, he gave Anthony Joshua his toughest fight as a professional and as an amateur. He actually dominated Joshua in the amateurs and had him on the canvas. And as a professional, he had him out on his feet and, had him confused a little bit before getting walked down and stopped. So, this guy, Dillian Whyte, he's not a bad fighter, okay? He's a good, promising heavyweight contender, very promising. His last fight, he took apart and defeated Ian Lewison, who was a big, tough, powerhouse guy here in the UK. I had a prediction video up for that fight, and the fight went exactly as I thought it would. Dillian Whyte to me, he's a good boxer. He got a good jab, a good counter left hook. Could improve his conditioning. He did improve his conditioning for his last fight because for the majority of his pro career, he's looked a little bit flabby and a little bit sluggish at times. But in his last fight, I thought he looked in very good shape by comparison. And he is coming into his his skills are coming together nicely now, and so is his fitness. So I think he's in a very good place now, Dillian Whyte. And I think certainly going into this fight, Dillian Whyte is the fresher of the two, and I can see him. I can see him being the more alert guy in the ring, having the more reflexes. Because let's not forget, Dereck Chisora has taken a lot of punches. He's been in a lot of tough fights. He was brutally knocked out by David Haye. Well, he wasn't knocked out cold, but he was hit hard and hit to the canvas very, very heavily, where he was all over the place. He was knocked senseless. So, that fight, in my opinion, would have taken a lot out of him. He also got a beating off of Vitaly Klitschko. Took a lot of shots off Helenius and whatnot. Got a battering off of Kubrat Pulev. Got another absolute battering in the rematch against Tyson Fury. He just got his head bashed in for 10 rounds and then he quit. It was actually pretty brutal, that fight was. And Dereck Chisora, yeah, he's shot born at this point. He's had a lot of punishment, taken a lot of punishment, had a lot of grueling fights, and he's you have to think that he's coming towards the end of his career, whereas Dillian Whyte is pretty much coming into his peak. So going into this fight, Dereck Chisora isn't going to be as fresh. However, you can say that he has had a lot more experience. I mean, having gone 12 rounds with the likes of Vitaly Klitschko and Robert Helenius and Kubrat Pulev and Tyson Fury, and having fought David Haye and whatnot, he obviously does have tons more experience, and he certainly has faced the far better opposition of the two. So, you have to take that into consideration going into the fight. Dereck Chisora could be, perhaps because he's been tested at a higher level, he could be more confident, and that could help him going into the fight. Perhaps if the fight goes late, which it likely will, because both of these guys are very durable, and neither of them are really big punchers for, by heavyweight standards. It's very likely that this could go the distance or it could go late. Perhaps Dereck Chisora will have more in the tank. Perhaps he'll be able to dig a bit deeper, being the fact that he has dug deeper before. But I personally, at this stage, I think that Dillian Whyte is going to win this fight. I could be wrong. I'm sticking my neck out here, but I think Dillian Whyte is going to win this fight. And I'm taking him to win the fight on points. Now, a stoppage is possible because, like I said, Chisora has been stopped a couple of times before. Chisora does get hit. Chisora is past his prime, but I just think that Chisora, still got a decent chin. He's still pretty tough, and I don't think that Dillian Whyte is a puncher. That's one thing I will say. I don't think that he hits anywhere near as hard as David Haye. I don't think he hits anywhere near as hard as Vitaly Klitschko. I don't think he's quite as persistent as Tyson Fury with his punches. I don't think he's quite as accurate or as fluid. And, I also don't think he hits as hard as Robert Helenius either. So, I think that the likelihood is that this fight will go late. It could be a stoppage, but I think it will go a few rounds. I think it will go late. So I'm going to go with Dillian Whyte to win on points, but it's not going to be easy. Dillian Whyte will certainly have to be in shape. I mean, if it's the Dillian Whyte that fought that journeyman that he fought before he fought Anthony Joshua, I remember one of those fights. He was really fat and just looked terrible. If it's that version of Dillian Whyte again, then he's going to get battered because you just won't have the stamina to keep up with Chisora. But I think if he's in shape, if it's the Dillian Whyte from his last fight, he won't have that many problems here. And I see him winning a decision or a late stoppage, but I think more than likely it'll be a decision. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And it's a good fight. Thanks for watching.